Órale. Los Tres Chingones Boxing Cholo Trucker here, man. Shouts to all the chingones and chingonas. Shout outs to my brothers in crime. Mike Zavala from Mike Angelino Sports and David Contreras. Hang on. I'm trying to get something going here. There it is. Oh, yeah. That's right. All right, so check it out, man. Just jumping right into it. I'm gonna be real. I did not get a chance to watch the Dillian White fight. From what I understand, it was kind of a controversial decision. So I got to go back and watch that, man. But I did not get a chance to watch that fight. Um, the John Ryder versus Zach Parker fight, that was something else. Man, was I wrong? Damn, was I wrong, homie? Um, and of course, man, we got to get into the Zepeda and Regis Prograis fight, the Chon and Prograis fight. But before we get into that, let's spend just a little bit of time on the John Ryder fight. Him coming out with the victory, man. I going into this, going into the weekend, if you guys remember, I was picking Zach Parker to win by stoppage, not even by unanimous decision, but by stoppage, man. And damn, that is not what happened. Um, I thought Zach Parker. I think he's a better fighter. He's bigger, and if we're gonna be real, the reason why this fight had meaning to it was because, and this isn't a guarantee, Holmes, but this is just likely to happen that the winner of this fight is going to take on Canelo on Cinco de Mayo weekend. So that's why this fight, was a little bit more meaningful. Outside of that, would people really be interested in this fight? Um, I would have watched it. Being real with you guys, I still would have watched it. I like Zach Parker. I like John Ryder. They're not my favorite fighters or anything like that. They're not fighters that I, you know, follow, man, like deeply or anything. But no, I like them, man. But I going into this fight, man, I was like, look, John Ryder, in my opinion, I just think he's smaller. I just think the odds are stacked against him. He's had a few losses already. So if they're going to go to decision, they're gonna go with Zach Parker, who to this up to this fight was undefeated. And he's a bigger guy, and I just think he stands a better chance. First of all, Canelo beats both of these guys. I'm just saying who gives Canelo a better fighter, and I think it's Zach Parker, not John Ryder. However, look, man, that's why you go in the ring and you throw chingazos, right? Because things can definitely happen. And in this case, John Ryder comes out with the victory. So now what? Because in reality, I think the more hyped up match would have been Canelo versus Zach Parker over across the pond in the UK. What's up, Hectic? But now, since John Ryder won, I'm not sure if that match has as much hype. You got to remember, Zach Parker was coming into this fight undefeated. So now this is a, finger quotes comeback fight for Canelo. It would have been pretty good if he would have been going in there against Zach Parker, an undefeated fighter. But that's not the case now. John Ryder gets the victory. John Ryder has like 5 losses. Canelo has said he wants to fight across the pond. All these things match up. The only thing that doesn't match up is the fact that John Ryder won this fight. It should have been Zach Parker, but hey, Holmes, oh well, dog. He went there, he ruined the party, he spoiled the party. And look, does he get a shot at Canelo? Don't I don't know. It's kind of the same way I feel when people are talking about, hey, the winner of Plant and Benavides is gonna get Canelo. Okay, what if it's Caleb Plant? Does Caleb Plant fight Canelo? Because people are just saying it's Benavides. It's gonna be Benavides. But what if it's Plant? If Caleb Plant beats Benavides, does Caleb Plant get another shot at Canelo? I'm not so sure about that. The other way around, yes, but Caleb Plant, I'm not so sure. That's why I'm saying here, this matchup across the pond between Zach Parker and John Ryder was made basically for Zach Parker to continue his undefeated streak and Canelo to fly across the pond and fight him. But he loses. He loses to John Ryder, a guy who's got 5 losses. And now I'm not so sure if that's who Canelo faces now. Honestly, I wouldn't have a problem. Look, he earned it. John Ryder, I'm talking about. He goes in there, he earns it, he spoils the party. Hey, Holmes, let him have it. Right? This is being put out there as a Canelo comeback fight anyway. So I just say, hey, just go for it. Let the guy get his shine. Does Ryder stand a chance against Canelo? Come on, dog. Oh, what's up, fellas? Freezing. Fremont. L is Andy Ruiz Jr. Still happening. And Juan Bivol versus Canelo 2. I got Canelo. UK Smasher low key. The Andy and Wilder, that's everything kind of went silent on that. So not sure. What's up, Andres? Canelo is fighting. Bivol, where the money makes more sense. Solo and Bivol 2, Charlo, then Benavides, thanks to Charlo. Well, Canelo has came out and said because he had hand surgery. So Canelo has came out and said that he's gonna fight basically a tune-up fight, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Um, his hand is still recovering. He can't make contact with his fist. Word is till March. So yeah, so he's saying that he wants just kind of like a, I guess, a tune-up fight, which that's why this fight between Zach Parker and John Ryder was important. Simply just for the fact that everything led to Canelo facing the winner, which everybody believed it was going to be Zach Parker because he's undefeated, he's a bigger guy, and just a better boxer, and he actually lost. So now that's why kind of doubting a little bit if it's gonna be John Ryder. But yeah, I would say just go ahead and do it. Just the way I keep on, the example I give is when people say, "Hey, Caleb Plant, the winner of Caleb Plant versus Benavides, is gonna fight Canelo," and I'm like, "You think so? Do you really believe that?" I think if Benavides beats Plant, Benavides gets a shot at Canelo. But if Caleb Plant beats Benavides, I don't think Caleb Plant gets a second shot at Canelo. I really don't. So I don't think it's the winner of that fight. I just think it's if Benavides wins that fight. But if Caleb Plant wins that fight, I'm telling you guys right now, I really do not see a rematch. I really do not see Caleb Plant getting in the ring with Canelo. That match, in my opinion, does not happen. The other way around, Benavides, yeah, yeah, I see that happening. So it's not the winner of that match. It's just if Benavides wins that match. What about African Makabu, Don King guy for the tune-up fight in Mexico City? Remember that? Yeah, I remember that. He was the cruiserweight. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to that. I don't think Canelo goes up to cruiserweight, man. He's having a tough time at light heavyweight, so he's having a tough time at 175. So I don't see that happening. I think that's wave bye-bye and is long gone in the rearview mirror, man. But anyway, let's move on to the let me see. There won't be a rematch. Canelo won by knockout. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's only if Benavides wins that match. But if Caleb Plant wins that match, there's not a rematch. There's it's not gonna happen. All right, so let's move on to the Prograis and Chon Zepeda. Okay. First of all, let me go ahead and say I had a good time, Holmes. Serio, dog. I had a good time watching. I went over to the Garza family house, with the G Unit twins, and my boy Bobby Garcia was there with his lady, and it was a good time, man. Got there, watched all the fights. It was a fun time. They were pretty invested in watching Fernando Vargas's son. Um, is that Fernando Jr.? All his sons fight. I don't know if all his sons fight, but I know quite a few of his sons fight. So I don't know. I get kind of lost, man, in which one's which. But the first fight in the undercard was Fernando Vargas's son against Martinez, who was clearly, clearly outmatched. It was very easy to see. Martinez's hands were very slow. He was a lot smaller and he looked out of shape. Vargas was taller, bigger, stronger, faster, and he just look. He made easy work of him. He made easy work of him. So, but it was crazy because I guess they knew Martinez or they knew his family, and they're we're so invested in the fight, man. It was fun. It was fun watching it. But what was it, in the second round? I think he was, man, got knocked out. I want to see Charlo Benavides or Boo Boo versus Plant. This guy needs to fight each other. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I completely agree. And the thing is, Canelo came out and said, "Hey, these guys need to fight each other, and I'll fight the winner." Well, guess what? Zach Parker and John Ryder fought each other. So yeah, now you gotta fight the winner, man. I just believe that everybody was thinking that it was gonna be Zach Parker going in there against an undefeated fighter, but no, John Ryder got the win, and this guy's got like 5, 6 losses on his record. But moving on in that card, I'll go ahead and tell you guys this, man. That whole card was pretty fun to watch. The Regis Prograis versus Chon Zepeda. That was that the whole card was pretty fun. Um, there wasn't a fight on there that I was bored with. I'm not gonna say all the fights were great, but none of them were boring. All of them were, somewhat exciting. So it was a good night of fights. Um, I will say this, man. It looked like the place did not sell out or even came close to selling out. That's just what it looked like to me on TV. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Um, I wasn't really that surprised because neither one of these guys really moved the needle like that. Neither one of these guys are, yeah, you don't need to be superstar, but neither one of these guys are really that much of a draw. However, it was a good night of fights. Even the girls that got down, man, I enjoyed that. And one homegirl, I wish I could remember her name, but she refused to take a seat. Every time, the bell rang, she'll just walk over to her corner and just stand there. She ended up losing, but I just thought that was a power move. Like, I'm not gonna sit down. I'll just stay standing in between rounds. You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the fighter, dog. If you guys ever seen the movie No Retreat, No Surrender, in between rounds, Jean-Claude Van Damme, instead of sitting down, he does the splits on top of the rope, so they don't have to put a stool in there. He just does the splits on top of the rope, has that hold him up. Can you imagine in between rounds in a match, in a boxing fight, right? The fighter goes no stool and does the splits on top of the rope. Damn, what a power move, Holmes. What a power move. If I had a fighter who I was training, I'd be telling him, hey, we got to stretch you out. You got to be able to do the splits because at some point in between rounds, you are going to do the splits on the rope, just staring your opponent down while he's over there sitting on a punk ass stool. But it was a power move by her, man. She refused to sit down, but eventually she ended up losing the fight. So I agree. No more Canelo sweepstakes. I 100% agree. These guys, all of them, should be fighting one another. So let's get into the main event of the night, man. Um, there was quite a few people that said that this could be fight of the year. Jones Zepeda and Regis Prograis. Haven't seen Regis Prograis get in the ring in a minute. This took place in Dignity Health Sports Park out in Carson, California. Outdoor venue in November. It does get kind of cold at nighttime, at least Southern California cold. Just man, I'm not really sure how much it was going to really be a draw, and neither one of these guys is that big of a star. However, the fight itself should have been a big draw, man, because everybody knew that this was going to be a good fight, and it was. And it was. I thought the first 3 rounds started off a little bit slow, which was fine. I was expecting that. But at the end, as the fight kept going, um, I thought Progress was just a little bit too much for Chong. His hits looked like it bothered Chong a heck of a lot more than the other way around. Don't get me wrong, dog. Chon Zapata had his moments, man. He was tagging Regis Progress. I'm not gonna say that Progress did not feel his punches at all because he did. His face even shows it. But it was pretty easy to see that Prograis was a stronger guy. Let's see. Chola, I got a question. Do you think this era, too many boxer at whatever weight class fall, not most have a padded record? Man, I'm not sure I understand the question. Do you think this era, too many boxers at whatever weight class? I'm not sure I understand the questions or the question. Um, Most have a padded record. I think a lot of fighters try to keep that O. I don't know if that's what you're asking. They try to stay undefeated, and as long as they stay undefeated, well, then some way somehow that makes them great. But if you look at the opposition, at the competition that they've been facing, doesn't really say much about them and their skills and how great they are. But they can just keep on saying like, well, everybody I've gone in the ring with, they've all failed. But yeah, they're really nobody's though. But getting back to this Prograis and Jones Zepeda, um, look, Zepeda had his moments, man. He had his moments. I just think he it was too much for him. It was too much for him as the rounds kept getting into the deeper waters. Um, I thought it was just kind of a matter of time. Now, I first predicted that this was going to go to the scorecards. I did not predict that the fight was going to be stopped, but stopped it was, and I don't have a problem with it. Prograis had him. He looked good. He looked sharp. Chong gave it everything he had. Prograis face shows that, can attest to that. Regis Prograis does have his facing Chavo. And look, man, Prograis is a pretty he came on very humble at the end, um, saying that this was the toughest fight he's been in. What I don't like is that he refused to call anybody out. That I don't like. I do like when fighters call out other fighters, puts a little bit of pressure, but as we all know, that doesn't really mean much. You could call out whoever you want, and it doesn't mean that the fight's gonna happen. But I would like at least there to be a little bit of pressure there, right? Now I got to go ahead and tell you guys this, man. I think Regis Prograis is one hell of a player in a 140-pound division. I really do. I think this guy can compete with the best of them at 140. He can take a punch. He can give a punch. And look, man, he's got some pretty decent size on him and some pretty good power. 140-pound weight class, man. I think this guy can really contend and make it all the way to the top. I mean, watching him, I was like, damn, I had not seen Regis Prograis fight in a minute, right? So watching him, I was like, damn, dog, I'm impressed with this Vato right here. As far as Chon Zepeda, where's he go? Look, man, he goes to being the gatekeeper. He goes to being the journeyman. He goes to being basically what somebody like Josecito Lopez was. I don't think Sean Zepeda can beat Regis Prograis. I think he can have some good fights. I think he can compete against some of the top guys at 140, especially when you got some of these guys at 135 moving up to 140. Yeah, yeah, I think Zepeda could compete with those guys. Maybe even beat them. Maybe. But I'll tell you guys right now, man, you get somebody like a Teofimo Lopez at 140 now up against John Zepeda. I got Teofimo Lopez. But at the same time, I had Zach Parker to beat John Ryder, and that's not what happened. Let me see. I mean, nobody fights nobody. We should see everyone fight each other like back in the 90s or early 2000s. Who think has a record? I say Ryan Garcia does. Well, I think a lot of guys do, right? I think Tank Davis does as well. Yeah, we could say Ryan Garcia has somewhat of a padded record. I mean, best guy he beat was whom? Luke Campbell, right? And that's a good victory. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a great victory. But look, man, he's getting back into the ring. I should be having his brother. I'm gonna be working with his brother, with Ryan Garcia's brother, with Bobby G. I'll be working with them very soon. But we're not gonna be playing favoritisms here, man. We're gonna call it the way it is. And yeah, I think his record is a little bit he is a little bit protected, but let's see what happens. Hopefully he can make this fight happen with Tank Davis now. And we got a little bit of news coming up with that a little bit later on this week. So stay tuned for that. But as that goes on, man, look, congratulations to John Ryder. Does he get the Canelo fight? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Charlo, Boo Boo also. Yeah, especially those guys, man. Especially those guys. I mean, Charlo didn't even fight this year. Neither did Boo Boo. Neither one of those guys fought this year. But if we're gonna be fair, Terrence Crawford didn't fight this year either. He waited all the way to fight in the month of December at the very end of the year. What's up, Pete Town? But yeah, you guys stay tuned with that, man. I'll be doing some work with a couple of heads here and there. And yeah, look, man, congratulations to John Ryder. Let's see if he gets the Canelo fight now in the UK. Congratulations to Regis Prograis, man. He looked good. He looked sharp, and he can really do a lot of damage at 140, homie. This guy is the real deal, and I'm very interested to see what happens now with some of these guys at 135 that have moved up to 140. Now that they see somebody like Regis Prograis in there, I think we can make some really good fights at 140, man. Regis Prograis is that real deal Holyfield, man. I like what I saw from him. However, time is not on his side. He is 33 years old. He is 33 years old. So time is not on his side, man. He spent a lot of time just on the sidelines not fighting. So he is 33 years old. Let's see. Yeah. What happens? For sure. Well, Zach Parker ended up losing the fight. Everyone thought he was going to win, and people were hoping that that would have been Canelo's, quote unquote tune-up fight, just because it would have been an undefeated fighter. But now it's John Ryder, so we'll just see what happens with that, man. So congrats to those guys, and yeah, we'll just keep it moving, man. So with that, chingones and chingonas, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Until the next round, I'll catch you guys then.